Hey guys, Metalhead here, and in today's video, I'm going to be doing something that I have never really seen before and never really thought of doing until about yesterday. But I'm going to be ranking all of Iron Maiden's studio album covers. So this will not include live albums, EPs, singles, collections, etc. It would just be their main studio albums. They have 17, so that's a lot to rank. I'm going to have a lot of fun doing the discography ranking on these guys. But yeah, this is not a discography ranking. I'm just rating the album covers, 17 to be exact. And I don't think Iron Maiden has a single bad album cover. I think they're all very interesting, and how Eddie is different in all of them. But with that, let's get started. Probably my least favorite, number 17, is the X Factor. I still think this is cool, but I don't really understand it. It just seems like they're ripping Eddie apart. Like, the bottom half of him isn't even there. You can, like, see his intestines coming out. And then they rip the top of his head off, and you can see his brain. I don't really understand it that much. I still think it's cool, but that's probably why it's my least favorite. I don't really understand it, so... And that's probably why it's my least favorite, although I still think it's really, really cool. But yeah, and at 16 coming in is Dance of Death. I still think this album cover is cool because, I mean, you got Eddie and all the people dancing. But the one thing is, it looks really, like, cartoony, really, like, animated. And, like, that doesn't really seem like an Iron Maiden album cover. All their album covers kind of seem like, I guess, like, in-depth and, like, not as cartoony, more realistic, I guess you would say. So, like, I saw it, I didn't really think it was Iron Maiden. Like, I mean, I knew it was, but I didn't really think it's something Iron Maiden would make and put on an album. But that's just my personal preference. I mean, some people probably like it, some people probably don't like it, but I think it's fine. Coming in at 15 is The Book of Souls. I think it's cool just because it's a cool-looking Eddie. But the one thing I don't like is that it's just Eddie. Like, and all the other albums, like, it's got something with it. So, like, something like Killers. On that album cover, it's like Eddie. There's stuff in the background. He has an axe. Or in Number of the Beast, he's like controlling the devil or whatever. In The Book of Souls, there isn't really anything to do. I do think it's cool just because it's like a really cool Eddie. But there's not really anything there that, like, helps it, like, to be cooler besides Eddie himself, because there's not really anything in the album cover. But, yeah, that's why it's 15. Number 14 is Virtual 11, Virtual XI, for those who don't know Roman numerals. This album's really cool just because it's, like, Eddie grabbing the guy who's in, like, I guess a virtual reality type thing. One thing I don't really like about this album cover, the Eddie in it doesn't really look like an Eddie type thing. Like, all the Eddies look different. This one doesn't really look like it. To me, at least. I can still tell that it's Eddie, but... but it's just not as cool of an Eddie, in my opinion. But still, very cool album cover. Coming in at 13, The Final Frontier. I think it's very cool because it's like a fully green Eddie. Green's one of my favorite colors. And also part of his head. I think it's... So if you're looking from the perspective, like you're looking face forward at it, like the left side of his head is cut off, even though to him it'd be the right side. He's also running into this like ball with a skull and a weapon. I think it's honestly a really cool album cover. Honestly, this is when album covers start to get really, really good, in my opinion. Because, like, from this all the way up, they're going to be even better. And then everything below this was, like, okay. And this stuff's really good. But, yeah, that's The Final Frontier. Coming in at number 12 is the Senjutsu album cover. I actually had the opportunity to see Iron Maiden on their Future Past tour. And a lot of it was a lot of Senjutsu stuff, and there even was like probably I want to say 11-foot tall Eddie animatronic in the Senjutsu outfit, and I thought it was really, really cool to see like a samurai Eddie, and like even the album cover Senjutsu, like the font on it is super cool, and getting to see Eddie as a samurai, it's honestly really interesting to look at. Coming in at number 11 is Iron Maiden, the OG album cover. I like this one, but it's also a little bland just because it's Eddie, kind of like the Book of Souls. But the reason this got higher on the list is just because it was the first album Iron Maiden produced. If they didn't make it, Iron Maiden never would have been a thing. But so that's why it's a little bit higher. So just because like nostalgia and like without that album, we wouldn't have the band and what it is today. And so yeah, that's why that's there. Coming in at number 10, A Matter of Life and Death. I think this is really a really cool album cover, and I have a shirt from their last tour where the back of it is A Matter of Life and Death. It's really cool. And I think it's just cool to see Eddie on top of a tank with a big leader, big like army, I guess, of like, I want to say like zombies that he's leading. And yeah, so it just kind of reminds me of like a war type vibe just from the album cover. So that's why I like it. And I also have a shirt with it. So I've known that album cover for a long time, and I've grown on it a lot since I first saw it. Coming in at number 9, Brave New World. I really like this because it has Eddie's face at the top of the album cover. And it's all like futuristic city. And even though I like old music, I think it's cool to see that there is an album from, I think, late 90s, early 2000s that's like really futuristic, to see like a futuristic city. So yeah, that's why I like that one. Coming in at number 8, Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. I don't really understand this album, just because it's like the top portion of Eddie floating over the water with something in his hand. Although I do really like the way Eddie looks, and his head's on fire, holding a very mysterious thing, and just kind of floating there in the water with ice all around him. Thought it was very cool. And yeah, so there's nothing really much to this album cover, but the little things that are in the album cover makes it really cool to me. Coming in at number 7 is No Prayer for the Dying. The way, I don't know if this is what it actually is, but the way I interpreted it when I first saw it, I saw Eddie as like a zombie type thing, even though I think Eddie is some sort of futuristic zombie. But what I saw was Eddie as a zombie crawling out of, I guess, a coffin or like a wall. And it looked like he was trying to attack something. I thought it was very interesting. Thing that, like, they were praying for, like, they had no prayer that he died or whatever. Like, they weren't praying for him dying, I guess, because they wanted him to die, maybe. That's how I interpreted it. But I could be totally wrong. But that was my interpretation when I first saw it. Coming in at number 6 is Killers. I really love the Killers Eddie and the album cover. I think it's very cool that they called it Killers, and Eddie has like all of like the hair flowing down, and he's got that bloody axe with him. I think it's very cool to see that, because they're like saying that Eddie is the killer. Second album with Paul Diano, last album with him, God rest his soul. But yeah, that's Killers, number 6. Coming in at number 5, we've got Peace of Mind. I think it's really cool because, like, Eddie is kind of, I guess, trapped in an insane asylum. And he has restrictions on him, like restricting him to the walls. And they need to, like, give him some peace and, like, whatever, I guess, peace to his mind. Let him cope with himself. I thought it was cool. Some others might not. But that's why it's up there. Coming in at number 4, Fear of the Dark. I think it's this. One of the reasons I think this album's cool. Most of Iron Maiden's albums, they, like Iron Maiden, they put their logo on the top, but this one they put it on the side. Which, that's one of the reasons I like it. Another reason is that the album cover, it's nighttime and there's a tree, and every Iron Maiden album has Eddie on it in some shape, way, or form. And in this one, he's like the tree that's in the album. He is like connected to the tree. Like Eddie is the tree pretty much. Like he's the tree, and then he's like, it's the tree, and then Eddie's like sticking out of the tree. I think it's very cool to see an album cover like that. Like to have the band's mascot mixed with something like a tree. To see him like coming out of it. And that's why I like it a lot. Coming in at number 3, Number of the Beast. This was actually my first Iron Maiden album I ever listened to. And I think it's very cool because when I first saw it, I saw Eddie, and he was being, I guess, like a puppet master controlling the devil. And I thought it was very cool to see that someone like Eddie was actually controlling the devil, not the other way around. And this album cover is super nostalgic to me. It's not my favorite, but it's still super duper nostalgic. And I just love to see Eddie as like a puppet master with all of his hair coming down the side. So that's why I put it up here. Number 2 is Power Slave. Another one of my first Iron Maiden albums I ever listened to. I think it's really cool to see like Eddie in like an Egyptian form. And he is like, I guess like the Sphinx or the temple / pyramid, like the front of it, leading to the entrance. You can see Eddie's face. I think it's super duper cool. Just to like see him in an Egyptian setting. And then you just have all the stuff on the back, around in the background and in the middle ground, I guess, of like sphinxes and temples and all this cool Egyptian stuff. Coming in at number 1, my favorite Iron Maiden album cover is Somewhere in Time. The reason I like this album so much, again, kind of like Brave New World, it's really futuristic. You can, like, the background, it's all super duper, like, futuristic. Looks like a futuristic city. Eddie looks super futuristic and spacey. You can see all of his muscles. He has a blaster, kind of like a eye, something over his eye. I don't know what you would call it, but it looks like a radar scanner thing. Just looks super duper futuristic. This was also one of my first Iron Maiden albums. It was either this or Number of the Beast. I don't remember. But this and Number of the Beast are so high up there because they're really cool and they're nostalgic to me. Because they were the first ones I bought. Again, like I said earlier, super duper futuristic. Eddie looks futuristic. Like, seems like in this album they tried to like make everything really futuristic. And like, again, like I said earlier, for when I ranked Senjutsu, when I went to my show during the Future Past tour, a lot of it was like alongside Senjutsu, a lot of it was Somewhere in Time. Like if Eddie didn't come out in a Senjutsu outfit, he most likely came out looking like Somewhere in Time Eddie with a blaster and a cowboy hat. Again, 11 feet tall. Yeah, super cool album cover, and that's why I put it up here as number 1. So yeah, Iron Maiden album covers I think are really cool. They've all got Eddie, all have something different. And I hope Iron Maiden makes more albums, even though I don't think it will happen. Because I know that Steve Harris is talking about retirement for the band. But I hope you guys enjoyed my album cover ranking of all of Iron Maiden's studio albums. I don't know if I'll do another video like this. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. But I hope you guys enjoyed. And if you did, smash that subscribe button, smash the like button, and hit the notification bell after you subscribe. And it makes me really happy if you guys subscribe. And thank you guys so much for watching.